Hi everyone, it's Captain Question channel. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Richmond Football Club. Now, I might talk about other teams, but if you're attending Magpies, welcome back to another video. If you're new, you're watching this for the first time, like, comment and subscribe. Now, how I talk about Richmond, right? They're on the 8th on the ladder. Coming off 3 out of the last 4 years, being premiers, winning the premiership. 2018 we beat them, and obviously, naturally we lost in the grand final, and West Coast won the premiership. Couple of things I will add to that is that I thought they'll be up there this year. Clearly they're not, and clearly they're not going to win the grand final this year. I don't think they'll win the grand final next year. The reason why I say that is that I look at Richmond, I go, the hunger on being top heavy now, because you're up there for so long, you feel comfortable. You feel like, okay, I can do, it doesn't worry me on what I do. Now it's just playing for finals and just getting your reputation up as okay, we've won for our last 4 flags. That our dynasty. This is our dynasty, and that's it. I'm telling you that it's over now. It is over. It's not going to be a good year next year when you drop away like that. And look, Richmond won the flag from playing this position. I didn't want to write Richmond off because they can still do it. Looking back on the way that they played poorly against St Kilda. They played shit. It's the worst game they've ever played. I think since 1966 or something, 1964. This is how bad they've been. At the MCG. So you would have thought that you come into the game as a confidence boost, and they've had some, come from behind wins. Last year they lost to Hawthorn at the G. They drew against us. And that was the real turning point. But Richmond got going at the right time. Now you've had a look at the losses. To be fairness, they should have won against West Coast. Lost to Sydney, lost to Melbourne. They had one good win against the Bulldogs. Got smacked by the Cats. 4 out of 5 losses. It builds and builds. And Port Adelaide performance as well. I think Port might have won. Well, I think I'm pretty sure Port played online, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I look back on Richmond and I go, right, is this dynasty over? Caroline Wilson believes they'll win the premiership next year. Like 1 year off, shorter pre-season, that's what's happening. When you're up there for so long, the hunger tends to go away, right? We all know that. Pre-seasons, battling injuries like they've had a few injuries, but they're able to cover. Now, they've lost a couple of players during the free agency that I think is a way that I think the Richmond Football Club now are thinking, what can we do? Whether they're being arrogant, I don't think they're an arrogant team. They've got, potentially they could. And maybe that might be the case. But you got to look at from the point of view of, excuse me on that one, it's, you got to be hungry. You can't afford to go, okay, We've won 3 of the last 4 premierships. It's fine. We'll keep winning. I don't think you can afford to do that. I don't think you can afford to be comfortable. I think Richmond feel that they are comfortable right now. I think they've done this before. They've got the confidence and sometimes not put in the hard work like they probably should be. And I think now that we look back on Richmond, I don't think that they can do it. I think they will be in the finals now. Pretty poor effort. But I just feel now that Richmond Football Club, that's it. Dynasty's over, guys. Dynasty is over. They won't win it next year, and they're certainly not going to win it this year. There's a lot of doubts on Richmond. It's just players, opposition coaches are working on how to play Dustin Martin. And because he doesn't defend, he doesn't tackle enough like a midfielder should. When you're playing midfield forward, you gotta put pressure on. If you don't do that, then it's game over. If you don't put pressure on, it's game over. You cost your team. You're more reliability goes on the player for not working hard and expecting his teammates to help him out. And when the pressure comes on, you need everyone trying to pull together. And against the Giants, when Damien Hardwick was talking about playing at Marvel Stadium, mate, we have to play Marvel Stadium. I'm critical of that. But when you say, they're not rock up, play all our home games at the MCG, eventually the AFL is going to punish you and make you play somewhere else because they see that as you whinging. Look, eventually Geelong did, miss out 1 year making finals, but realistically, right, Geelong, even though they played finals, from 7-11, that was the window. Then they started. Obviously, when Chris Scott took over, they did play in a few finals. But they were falling short. When you play older guys like Geelong are, eventually it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And it will, because you can't tell me that, it's over. They want to try and be up there. Richmond are looking at that and they're looking how Hawthorn Brisbane fell away. You can't sustain it. It's impossible to sustain it. Sydney were in final of 12 out of 13 years, whatever it was. But were they winning premierships? They only won one back in 2005. 2012, 2014, they made 2 grand finals in that time. And they won the premiership in 2012. So that's the reason why. I say in 2016 they made it, but they lost. But they had to come from a very difficult position, and then they dropped further down the ladder. And then they didn't play finals they played finals in 2018 and they fell away. So eventually you're going to have to make some tough calls. And I think Richmond are going to get to that point. They signed Jack Rewell for another year, but is it really worth it? Is it worth it? Okay, maybe we go trade him out and have some experience in there, but to build for your next premiership. Is the Damien Hardwick situation with, being in a relationship with a staffer, a fellow staffer at the club, affecting the players? Because when you start losing, naturally it gets brought up because there would be question marks on the club. And I feel that is the case. I feel that's causing frictions. I think it still would be, because if the coach can't get the players to perform out on the field and making ridiculous statements of the footy experts, they just had paid to have an opinion. I reckon if you look at what those teams have done in the past, like Brisbane and Hawthorn, from 2012 to 2016, in that 4-year gap, they missed out on the premiership, right? In 2016, they made the finals. They got knocked out. But Isaac Smith missed. Geelong played in the prelim, and they got smacked within that. And then they fell away in 2017. 2018, it was a false top 4. Then they moved away. Now they're in the path of having to rebuild for the next few years, and it had to happen. So eventually it gets teams thinking within that window, if we don't make the premiership, or if we do have some success, it's going to take a while to rebuild the list and to be up there. And unfortunately, look, Richmond Football Club, they're a great club, they're a great team. They've won 3 of the last 4. As I said, you're going to have to start performing. And if you don't get that type of performance this week, right, against the Gold Coast Suns, which they should win, guys. They should win. But if they fall away from that and they're supposed to face my team, how vulnerable are they? With injuries, they've got some players coming back. You get found out. Eventually you get found out. When you have barely little injuries, and you got your best 22, 1 or 2 injuries doesn't affect your depth. It's when you start getting multiple injuries that tests your depth out. Tom Lynch is out. Don't know if he's in this week, but when he's out, you don't have that second foot. You don't have that forward to help out. Now, Coleman Jones, thought did pretty decent. The first game, look, they played him to see how he'd go. Thought they could get away with it against St Kilda, but you can't afford, because teams start to, and as Kane Corn says, teams start to, and Matthew Lloyd, teams start to build up that next 3 or 4 or 5 years to have that dynasty. And eventually when a team like Richmond falls after dominating the competition, you're going to have problems. You're going to have injuries are going to be a factor. You're going to have, is this working? If that doesn't work, if Richmond not win the premiership this year, they're not going to win one next year. Happy to prove me wrong in this video, and if you guys bring up, fine. Always let me know what you think in the comments below. But Richmond, unfortunately, they're not that good this year. They've won the tough one, and Hawthorn's toughest period would have been when Brian Ray came in. Okay, that was the difficult premiership. The difficult one. The in-house bickering, Alistair Clarkson been away for 5 weeks. That's the toughest premiership. The toughest one for Richmond was last year when all 10 clubs from Melbourne had to go over to Queensland. And because they've won that, and because they've had a shorter pre-season, naturally, I think that's going to take its toll. And being up there for so long, you feel comfortable and you feel like, okay, this dynasty is over because of this and this. They're a great club as usual. You're not going to expect performances. So I think now that Richmond are going to fall away big time out of this, and they're not going to start winning as much. So I hope you guys do like this video. Like, comment and subscribe. Please tell me what you think. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to discuss it as usual. Until then, go the Mighty Pies.